Hi guys, quick one to talk to you about today that may save a session for you. So this is a crucial piece of gear that you should get for your home recordings. Something that every studio should have, something that I have several of, that nobody thinks about, is attenuator barrels. Now, I'll tell you why. Okay, so I'm tracking bass, and in this case I'm using a Dark Glass B7K, which I'm going to be doing a demo on at some point very soon. It's a fantastic pedal, but something that happens to me a lot. I also have a DI box that's a tube DI box that works in this with this similar kind of problem. With, say, well, basically, it clips. It itself doesn't clip, but the output is so high because this replicates the hot output from this bass that I just end up with the level on any of the interfaces and preamps that I have overloading, even with zero gain applied. And that's a problem. None of the preamps that I happen to have in my studio have pads on them. Because what you can do if an interface has got an inbuilt pad, you click the pad button, the level goes down by 20 decibels, and everybody's happy. And that's great, except what if I didn't want to use that preamp? What if I wanted to use a different preamp? What if I want a different sound? Or what if I don't have any? Like in my case, most of my preamps are vintage preamps with, say, minimum of 15 dB of gain on the input. Or I used a Focusrite Octopre, which again has great converters for its price, doesn't have pads. What I need is one of these attenuator barrels, because even with the blend turned off on this pedal, so if this is completely the raw output, this is completely clipping. So there is nothing I can do except take out the XLR that's feeding the preamp, attach one of these attenuator barrels. Alternatively, you can put a little cable in between them if you need to make sure there's no strain, and then that will come through the preamp 15 decibels lower, which, considering it was about 2 or 3 dB over clipping, I'm now at minus 12-ish. Which actually is just about my ideal kind of sound. I mean, the way that I like to have everything. If I hit some gain and some drive on here now, I should get so now I'm tracking at what I would call analog levels. That is to say, minus 15, minus 12 dB peaks coming in, which is roughly where you would find the zero on a traditional analog VU meter on a plus 4 dBV mixing desk going, because zero in analog and zero in digital are very different. They're 20-something decibels apart. And yeah, if you're tracking into analog gear, expecting it to behave like analog gear, you need to treat it with an analog level. And it just so happens that something like the Dark Glass B7K has such a high output because it's designed to drive modern bass rigs. And also the direct output is kind of a, not a copy, but it's a, yeah, it is kind of a copy of the main output, but properly balanced for, for going into a microphone preamp. But that means that the level is so high, there is nothing you can do. And you could say, oh, turn down the level. But that's only the level of the driven signal. That's not the level of the original signal. So if I want to blend in some of the original signal, that was going to clip no matter what I did. Similarly, the Groove Tubes DI box that I absolutely swear by, which is this massive beast right here, if I want to track anything with a super clean tube DI, this has got quite high output mollard tubes in it. And it sounds absolutely great as far as DIs go, because it should be fairly transparent. But the output doesn't have a pad on it like a lot of solid state DIs do. This just has extra gain, because it's kind of in like another stage, preamp in that regard, because it's tube based. So there's no option to attenuate at all. So what you need, one of these. So that would go on there, output goes on there. Nice analog levels, which means then your plugins behave properly. That's something I want to talk about in another video, is the difference between analog and digital levels. I'll get into that in detail at a later date. But I hope that this rather kind of dry, boring piece of video has actually given you an insight into something that you really should have either at home or in the studio, because this is a nice little shortcut to provide perfect levels every time, and to be able to track without fear of playing too hard or driving your gear properly. And this should make things work properly for you. So go out and get yourself a few today. You can find them on eBay. That's what I did. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'm Adam Steele for Hot Pole Studios. Please subscribe for more little informational things like this and gear reviews that we do as well. And we'll be talking to some local guitar builders and luthiers soon. And get in contact with us if you want to come into the recording studio and have a session, or do something like online mixing and online mastering, which is something that we also offer. So yeah, get in touch. Thanks for watching. See you soon.